Creative Living, utilizing today's technology with the best of the past to bring you innovative ideas and up-to-date information for creative lifestyles in today's active world. With your host, Sheryl Borden.
Welcome to Creative Living today. We're going to learn about a new curriculum that schools can use to deal with bullying. We'll share some interesting information on an old quilt pattern and demonstrate making gifts with slice and bake cookie dough. One of my guests is Peter Goodman, and he's an author who's written a children's book about bullying. He says that a large percentage of bullying takes place in and around the school building, and he'll explain why his curriculum is so effective in the school system. His business is Dream Big, and he lives in Washington, D.C. Another guest today is Cheryl Phillips, and she's going to show her version of quilt blocks for the popular Drunkard's Path pattern. She'll demonstrate using triangles instead of squares and show how to alternate fabric colors to allow for new designs. Her business is Phillips Fiber Art, and she's from Delta, Colorado. We'll begin the show today with two cookbook authors, Kimberly Reiner and Jenna Sanzagero. They're going to show how to make a basic cookie dough recipe and create slice and bake gift logs. They live in Tarzana, California. Jenna and Kimberly, it's so nice to have you here. I'm meeting the Sugar Mamas for the first time. It's a pleasure, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading your book, The Sugar Sugar, because it's all sweets. It's my kind of cooking.
Our kind of cooking.
Your kind of cooking. Why did you decide to write this book, Jenna?
Well, Kimberly had an idea that if she had this wonderful old family fudge recipe and a great story, and she thought if she had it, then there must be so many people all over the country that did, and so we decided to start collecting them.
And what was your favorite part of putting the book together?
I think meeting the people. Well, first I have to say working with Jenna. We got to, it was our first big project that we did together, and we got to meet people from all over the country, north, south, east and west, and I think that was the best. And discovering these old treasured recipes that we felt if we didn't start collecting them and start a recipe revolution, they were going to be lost.
They would, And when I read through the book, of course I like to cook and I love desserts, as I said, but my favorite part were the stories. And I could relate to some, you know, our grandmothers passing them on, or our great-grandmothers, or our mother-in-law, or whatever the situation was. So you're going to start out by making a slice and bake cookie. Well, that sounds simple enough, but this whole concept's going to be on how these can become such great food gifts, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we, for any occasion really, but these make a great hostess gift, or for the holidays. It's something unique and different, you know, something that you can give to the teacher.
Do it yourself.
Exactly.
And Kimberly and I were saying that if you've just had a bad day.
If you had a bad day, I mean, how nice if a girlfriend dropped off a fresh made cookie and said, you know what, here's some homemade cookie dough. You take 2 slices or you eat the whole log. No, don't tell anybody.
Exactly.
It's
No one will know.
No one's going to know.
That sounds
but wouldn't
great.
that just make your day?
It would.
Yes, it's such a wonderful gift and so easy to do, and you can do it with any type of cookie.
Right.
Oh, okay. So your favorite sugar cookie or chocolate chip or whatever.
So what we're going to do is you have a ball of cookie dough, and then we are just going to Jen and I like to say that this is Play-Doh to us. This is adult Play-Doh. So we're just going to roll it out.
Except you can eat it. That's
yeah,
my
exactly.
favorite part.
It's better, yes.
So we just kind of make it into a log shape, and then we roll
That's parchment
paper or wax paper over it. And now I like to take a sushi mat.
I saw that in the book. I didn't understand how that was used.
Isn't that great? So you can just roll that over. And
that just helps shape it, doesn't it?
And Jenna, what are some other ideas?
Well, you can, I mean, there are so many things. You could take a paper towel roll and cut it in half and use the, you know, the half curved semicircle of the towel roll, or, you know, I just use my hands. So any way to get it into a log. But
yeah, and you're going to show us some ways to package these, but I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice to give someone a new, fresh, clean little kitchen towel?
Wouldn't that be
That'd be a great gift. I need those.
And I like to play with this. So
okay.
I choose to use this. So take your log and then just roll it in your parchment paper. And again, you could also use wax paper.
Oh yeah. You sound like we're eating crunchy munch.
Crunchy, crunchy. And then this is how. Now you can get very decorative, right, Jenna?
Oh yes, definitely. We have some samples over here where we use different kinds of papers, but you can also go as simple as some tissue paper.
Just tissue paper.
And the parchment keeps any of the oil or any of the moisture from coming through.
It's food safe. So I like to start on the diagonal, but you don't have to.
Okay.
And then again, you just roll it like a Tootsie Roll.
See, I love Tootsie Rolls, so no wonder I'm going to like this.
You can add some Tootsie Rolls on the end too if you want.
Oh,
And then we just crunch the ends.
Uh-huh.
And then we take our little ribbon.
I couldn't even find the ends. There it is.
You have it?
Yeah.
Here's some ribbon. And we tie it up.
What a great way to use those little scraps of ribbon you have left from hair bows.
It's all about making use of everything.
Of everything that you have. And you could really, again, everything we have in our book are products that you should be able to find in your kitchen, in your cupboard.
At the local grocery. You don't have to have special things.
That's what I like. I enjoy cooking, but if I see a recipe that's got 15 or 20 ingredients and a fourth a cup of this and a half a teaspoon of that, I just don't do them. It's just too much trouble to try to go find all those things.
We like that these are recipes, you know, that you can, if you all of a sudden say, oh my gosh, I need something for the bake sale tomorrow, you've got it. So.
Oh, I wondered what you did with all that excess.
With the,
we just cut it right off.
You bet.
And then even if you were going to do school bake sale, we like to do a bunch of these and put them in a little igloo and take them with some ice packs, and you could sell these, or
oh, you could. That's a great idea.
Isn't that a great idea to raise money?
And you want to remember to type out your little or handwrite your instructions of how to bake your cookies.
And you could tie that right on to the thing,
You tie it right
or
onto the end. We have a little tag we've attached it to, so I love my teacher, and then the instructions on the back.
Your teacher would love you too.
Absolutely, and put it with the ribbon, and we have some here. We even made a little ornament for you.
Oh,
Cheryl.
how beautiful!
Fun.
Oh,
and you can do sprinkles.
There's your name on it.
Cookie cutters. If people want to roll out the dough, they can either slice and bake, or they can roll it out and cut. You know, you attach some sugar and the sprinkles for the top. So.
How cute.
Wonderful gifts for the holiday.
And another one, especially with containers too, sometimes it's fun just to use a container, and then the pretty tissue that you can put in, it really does just add a little extra glitz to it.
Exactly.
Great ideas. I can't wait to give this to my grandson's teacher for Christmas, or him give it, of course.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Bet.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. My mother was quite the quilter, and my grandmother, and they did it, so I didn't see any reason to learn. But as a little girl, I always remember that pattern called the drunkard's path, and they never told me what it meant, so maybe you can enlighten us all.
Me neither. I always thought, I don't want to make that quilt, you know. But I had to read about it, and in the Prohibition days, that was a popular pattern, was the drunkard's path, and it was supposed to illustrate that, you know, the drunk walked a windy way. So
that's how it came about.
Yes.
So, well, that's interesting, and we're going to show sort of thinking outside the box of the drunkard's path. But
That's right.
I've always wanted to know the history of how that came about. For those of us who are not of the quilting expertise that you are, you said this is basically the original pattern.
yeah, that's the more
shapes.
traditional shape.
And you just had to take it a little farther?
I can't follow the rules, you know.
Well, thank goodness you didn't, because you've come up with something even more beautiful.
Thank you.
And this is all black and white.
Yes.
And various shades in between. And this is the pattern you did, and I noticed circles. You love circles, don't you?
I love circles, yes. My friend Carla Schultz made that, and you notice it's black and white, but it's quilted all over with red thread. She's a character.
That's a great touch. It gives it a pop.
It does, doesn't it?
But this is basically, you can see the winding path through the circles, and that's the story. Okay, but you're going to make us one today out of, it's going to look totally different.
Yes, totally different. Out of batik fabric. I'm working with a theme of red and blue, some favorite colors. So I've cut squares, just simple squares, and I'm going to fold this square in half and give it a press.
Now this one is definitely supposed to be smaller than this one.
Yes, this is going to be our circle, and this is going to be our frame. Good point, good point, Cheryl. Okay, and then you're going to fold that in half and get a square.
Okay.
And then we're going to fold the larger one.
Oh, in triangles.
Yes, in triangles, diagonally and then diagonally again. Now I have some that I've already pressed.
And I've never heard of doing this. This is interesting.
Works really neat.
Oh yeah.
So here's one that's already pressed. Now you mentioned how much I love circles, and that's really true. It's not hard to sew a circle, believe it or not.
Yeah.
What's hard is cutting them right. If you have them cut right, they'll fit right together.
That's a good
So
point.
my husband and I developed this tool in 2004, and it's called the cut around, and it cuts exact circles every time.
That takes all the work out
It
of
takes
it and the
all,
worry.
Absolutely. And we've done it so we can set circles in. But not only can we set exact circles, but we also can make a circle that builds in that 1/4 of an inch, so that when you sew it back together, it's a true circle. And you won't notice it.
Always use that 1/4 inch.
Oh,
don't
you've got
they?
to have that 1/4 inch. So for my circle that I'm going to set in, I've chosen the size 9 inches. Notice that when I hold it like this, it holds it firm. There's no need for those little sticky tabs. I'm just going to cut around there.
Wow. And you're right. If you tried to do that on a line with scissors,
I've tried
you
it. It was just
can't.
so hard. So I've got an exact circle. Now I'm going to take my frame fabric and I'm going to place, even though it was folded differently, I'll place the cut around.
And I see why it's important to press it, because you want it to be exact when you
Exact
cut.
division into 4ths, yes. Now the hole has to be smaller than the circle. So we're going to cut the hole at 8 inches.
Oh,
this
an
was
inch.
9, an exact inch smaller. And so I just cut around there. Notice I'm holding my rotary cutter exactly erect rather than
Aren't those
pushing
wonderful
it.
tools?
Oh my goodness. My grandma always said if she had one of those, she could have gone to town.
She could have.
So now we're going to take both the,
Oh, this is
our
the frame. That's right. And this is what you cut out, the circle.
We're going to take our frame and our circle, and we're going to fold those again. Just give them a little pinch.
This is kind of like if we've inserted elastic in pants, you divide it into 4 so that it
Exactly, so you don't end with that bunch on your
distributes.
side. Yes, exactly. Okay, so we'll give them a little pinch, and we'll do the same thing on our circle. That divides that into 8s. When we've got that, we're ready to put the two together. So I'll have my
I
frame.
can't imagine how this is ever going to work, to be truthful.
It's going to surprise you. We've got the two together, right side up. We're going to bring that frame piece over the top, and where there's a fold, we match our folds. Remember, that's our exact divisions, like this and like this.
And you're distributing that fullness.
Exactly.
What you're doing.
In fact, I have one that's already folded for you. Looks kind of funny,
It
I
looks
know.
like those casserole carriers that
Doesn't
you
it though? It does. We have our frame on top and our circle on the bottom. We've pinned it 8 times. No more pins than that though. That's all you need. And you're going to come over here to your sewing machine.
And so the good thing about quilting and piecing is that everything's straight stitch.
Straight
So
stitch.
any old or new sewing machine will do this.
That's right. And you don't try to pull this and straighten it. You just let it. It's a very gentle curve, and you're only going to sew from pin to pin.
Oh,
And if
okay.
you just focus on that, I take my left hand and kind of walk my fingers so that the edges come together and sew it.
Okay.
I have 2 here that are sewn.
This is amazing.
See how nice
Look
and smooth?
Yes, how
There's
flat
no ripples,
it is.
it's flat. And then again, that's because of that math in that tool. Everything fits together.
I'm
Now-
glad there's people like you that figured that stuff out so that the rest of us can just enjoy using it. I like the back
Thanks.
side. That's amazing to see how
Isn't
it
that
does lie
crazy?
so flat.
Okay, the
Okay,
next
but
thing.
now you didn't just lay these out and piece them, did you? What do you do to this now?
Okay, you're going to
I
be
love
surprised.
these patterns together. That's beautiful. Well, these look great. Are these ready to go into the quilt like this, or what do we do next?
No, next we're going to cut them. Let me show you what we're going to do with these. We're going to take, normally I'd use just a regular ruler, but today we're going to substitute here. And I'm going to cut from corner to corner. Watch your little fingers.
Okay, I'll get out of the way.
From corner to corner. And then we're going to turn our mat and cut from corner to corner again. Just like
Will that
this.
work? Yeah. You want to put the corners on them?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it seems such a shame to cut that after it was so beautifully sewn.
Oh, listen, you don't know how, this is when the fun starts.
Oh, I guess so.
Is when we make these units.
I'd be proud if I got that far, though.
Okay, so now we've got this
4
piece
pieces.
here. And you can see we're going to make some framed in blue and some framed in red, and you use your whole collection of pieces.
Anyway.
Anyway, you want to see what I can do with these?
Yes.
Let me show you. We'll go over here, and this is the quilt I made. And you can see that this is where the block fits in. And by mixing and matching all your different scraps, I have quite a collection. You come up with
It's
such
really
an
hard,
interest-
you know, to look at it. If you didn't have the other one that you just laid there beside it, it's hard to find those. I see
Yeah,
now why we
here
did
is-
cut it.
See, here is your
The original block.
So you're just sewing together squares. But I took all my collection of batiks and put them up on my design wall and played. I had so much fun. It was a blast.
I hear a lot of quilters say that.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's amazing how it all comes together, starting with the choice of your fabrics, whether it's pastels like in that quilt or the black and white designs here. Every
Or
quilt will look
bright like
different.
this is going to be.
I kind of like the bright. That's my favorite.
It's going to be a bold one.
Well, thank you so much, Sheryl. I appreciate you showing us how to do
Thank
this.
you, Sheryl.
Peter, thank you so much for being with us today. I thoroughly enjoyed reading your book. It's delightful. It's titled We're All Different, but We're All Kitty Cats. And you might think, well, it's just about talking about how different people are, as well as cats, of course, but it deals with bullying. And the story's centered around these kitty cats that are going to school the first day. So does that mean that a lot of bullying takes place at school more so than other places?
It does. There is a lot of bullying at schools, but most of the time it's after class, in the schoolyard, when there isn't an adult supervisor. But it also can happen at home, so it's not just limited to the school environment.
But this one deals with these kitties that are going to school for the first day, and the teacher asks them to tell something about themselves, and all the kitty cats do. And when it comes to Carlos, the star of the book, he simply tells that he is a cat, but he has no hair.
Right.
He's a different kind of cat. And several of the kids laugh at him. And then how does the story go from there?
Well, after the cats laugh at him, he puts his head down on his desk and cries. And then after school, he's bullied, approached by Vinny, who's the school bully. And, he was told by Vinny, you're not a kitty cat, you don't have any fur. And Carlos, replies, yes, I am a kitty cat, but Vinny insists that he's not. And then Flo and Marla, two of Carlos's classmates, go up to Vinny and stand up for Carlos, which is really important.
Yeah, and do little kids that age, say preschool, kindergarten, do you think how can we help them to learn that it is okay to stand up for somebody else? Don't stand back and let this one child be hurt.
Right. At that age, it's a little, it's challenging because, they're just learning about social and emotional, issues. But it's important, repetition is really important with kids that age, and role models, and role playing also. And it's a combination of all those different activities that really help kids learn about, early on bullying.
Do you think it's sometimes a fear of retaliation? Maybe the bully will turn on the kids that are standing up for one, that more kids don't do that?
Yeah, I think that a lot of kids are witnesses to bullying, but they don't feel comfortable necessarily standing up because they're afraid that then the bully will retaliate and make them, the victim or the recipient of the bullying.
In this case, Carlos goes home and his mother detects something's wrong, and of course he was willing to open up. But a lot of times kids won't open up even to their parents about what happened, and I think even less so to a teacher. How can teachers get their students to feel comfortable enough or trusting them enough to help them deal with something like bullying?
Right. Well, what we're doing in the book, or as part of the book, we do have curriculum that we're developing that really help teachers engage their kids with certain activities that help them with learned behaviors, in terms of how they felt, what emotions they were feeling, and all of those types of, tactics or techniques really help kids feel more confident so that they don't necessarily engage in bullying behavior as they progress in their school career or as students.
Sure. And a person would think, well, this is a good book for a reading group, and you could talk about how people, kitty cats, are different. But helping them to go beyond just learning to read, that's part of what this curriculum's about, isn't it?
Right. It's of course about learning to read, but it's about introducing them to the topic of bullying, explaining the difference between bullying and teasing, getting them talking about their feelings and emotions, and also cementing, some good behaviors and techniques that the curriculum, involves, so that they really come out with some kind of substantial skills and tools that they can use to prevent bullying from occurring to themselves or to another student or a friend or a peer.
You're going to come out with a whole series of kitty cat books dealing with various topics. Maybe tell us what they are.
Right. Well, some of them will be making friends and losing friends, illness and loss, managing emotions, childhood fears. So a lot of these topics are things that I can remember back to my own childhood.
Can't we all?
Yeah, exactly. So that, all these topics are very familiar to, for kids nowadays, and for future generations. So I thought they would make great topics for future stories.
And will they star the same characters?
They will, but I think I'm going to introduce some new characters, so people will have to stay tuned. But these are a good, cool cast of diverse characters, and they're going to be the main cast for the next few books.
Well, I've noticed in reading to both my children and then to my grandchildren, many times when you just start reading, I may just want to read those words on the page and then flip the page and keep reading. And things that I think are important in a book, maybe because of the picture or because of the words that we've read, are not the ones kids pick up on. So it really does open the door to letting kids talk about maybe what just happened that day that they hadn't felt comfortable enough to talk about.
Right, and that's the thing. It is one's natural inclination just to try to get through the book or read the book, not get through the book, but read it. But when I read to, let's say, my nephew, I always engage him on every single page, making silly, voices and really asking him questions. And I think by asking questions and getting kids, talking about certain situations, even what's happening in a scene, really gets them talking about what's happening in their, in their life, or what happened at school today, or what did you learn today? So it's really, reading this book, the Kitty Cats book, could be an interactive experience for adults and kids.
Well, and one point we didn't cover, and it certainly plays a good point in the book, sometimes a child that's bullied thinks it's their fault.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Right, and that's really important, an important point. And the way that you can help, or parents can help children realize that it's not their fault, is by having an adult, like a parent, or teacher, especially a parent, reinforce the positive things about a child, as opposed to just saying,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, exactly.
Because they are going to worry about it. That's why there's a lot of tummy aches the day after, and lots of children stay home from school just from fear of being bullied.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that you don't want to do, is, you really want to be able to engage the kid and find out what's happening in their daily lives and their emotions and feelings. And the more that parents know about that, the more that they're going to be able to help their child.
Sure, and that's what we all want to do. So, well, I really commend you on the book. I'm anxious for the new books to come out and see what new kitty cats you introduce. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the show today. Next time on Creative Living, we'll learn how to make a birthday gift card holder, create a mini album, and demonstrate some clever 90-minute quilt techniques. One of my next guests is a mixed media artist and designer, and she's going to use a Big Shot cutting machine to make a birthday gift card holder. Mini albums make a great gift or a unique keepsake of a special event, trip, or even of a person. One of my next guests will show how to create your own eclectic album using a variety of shapes and sizes of paper. And finally, we'll meet an author and quilter who's going to demonstrate some clever time savers for quilting, and they're all based on her 90-minute quilt technique. All of these topics will be featured on the next Creative Living show. If you ever have comments or suggestions or ideas for shows, you can email me at cheryl.borden@enmu.edu. I'd also like to ask you to become a fan of Creative Living on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com and in the search window type in Creative Living with Sheryl Borden. Thanks so much. I hope you'll plan to join me next time for Creative Living.
We are very pleased to offer a new booklet that accompanies this series of Creative Living. This booklet is titled the 6600 Series, and it features a wonderful collection of ideas and information, and it's available free of charge on our website. Posted as a PDF file, you can simply download the entire booklet, or just the segments you're most interested in. As with all of the Creative Living booklets, you'll find information on foods and nutrition, clothing and fashion, health and beauty, home decorating, and much more. For your copy of this booklet, go to our website at KENW.org and then click on Creative Living. Scroll down to the booklet section and you can click on this booklet or any of the other booklets we have available online. Once again, just go to KENW.org, click on Creative Living, and download the booklet titled the 6600 Series. We also want to encourage you to sign up for our free e-newsletter. Just click on the Sign Up Now button and input your email address. That's all there is to it. You'll enjoy reading an up-to-date newsletter filled with interesting topics and information. Thank you.